Welcome to another episode of Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and today I'm joined with the Directors of Operations from Symphony New Hampshire, Nick Adams. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Did I get that right?
You did, a Director of Operations.
Director of Operations.
Yes.
Well, and it's New Hampshire. It's Symphony New Hampshire.
Symphony New Hampshire.
They changed that around just not too long ago.
Yes, 2 years ago we changed our name from Nashua Symphony to Symphony New Hampshire.
I was amazed. You told me off camera that they've been around since the 20s.
1923 was our founding. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't think they were that old. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So we have a little book up here.
We do.
And this is going to be the highlight of our show here. This is an undergoing that you took recently, and basically it's a fundraiser for the symphony.
It is, yes. Mm-hmm. We're essentially it's helping us raise money for our concerts, for our educational programs, a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. What are the educational programs all about?
Well, one of our big tenets of what we do is that we believe music is for everyone, and so we want to create an access point for all levels of people for at concerts, special events, but also for kids in the schools. And so we have a variety of educational programs that we have going on that we frequently send chamber music groups into the schools to perform 1 hour long concerts.
How does that go?
It goes really well
Really?
Because music, like I said, it's for everyone. And so you get a group of 5 or 6 musicians with charismatic personalities, and they play for an hour with elementary school kids, and they're just they're enamored with what's going on. This past spring we sent a chamber music group into the schools to play Peter and the Wolf, and so it's a little piece of music that tells the story of Peter and the Wolf, and each instrument on stage represents one of the characters in the story.
Oh, that's funny.
And so it introduces the kids to the instruments, but they hear melodies and they hear harmonies, and so it captures them. So that's what we're all about with our educational programs, and so this book will help make that happen.
Interesting. Is that expensive to do something like that, to have them? I mean, do you have to pay the musicians? Obviously,
we
there's
do.
some kind of expense
there. Symphony New Hampshire is the only fully professional symphony orchestra in New Hampshire. So each one of our musicians is paid a per-service rate when they do something for us, and so we're very proud of that. It's not easy to do, but it's something we're committed that we're fully professional, that all of our musicians get paid as professionals. And so expensive to send a 5-person group into the school is not terribly expensive, but you do it 10 times and it starts to add up. So the more we do it, the more expensive it
Now,
gets.
do they just cover the Nashua area? Do they go into other areas around the state?
Other areas around the state, not yet, but we do have a master plan that includes reaching out to other parts of the state. For now, it's the greater Nashua area, Nashua, Hollis, Hudson, Bedford, Merrimack, just the area around here.
Tell me a little history about this book here now. That there's some letters in there, and each letter represents something in Nashua. And how did that? Whose idea was that?
Well, it's interesting. In January of this year, my executive director, Eric Valliere, he went to a winter conference with the League of American Orchestras. It's the trade group for symphony orchestras. And so there was a little town in Kentucky called Paducah, and they have a symphony orchestra down there called the Paducah Symphony Orchestra. And the executive director was telling this great story about a fundraiser they did called P is for Paducah. And it turns out it was a children's alphabet book, and it became a really great community project. And so Eric, my executive director, came back and we had a conversation and said, I think we can pull that off here. And so he said, Nick, I'd like you to run with the idea, put together a team, and here we are. We're in December, and we have a book, and it's for Nashua.
Now, people donated pictures. You said there was one person, actually, I like that picture. It looked like a watercolor of downtown Nashua.
Yes.
They didn't want to part with it, but they said you could use it.
Sure. Now, each letter is represented by an interesting fact about Nashua. And so all of those letters were picked by members of the community. In fact, the mayor was one of the people who submitted an idea for a letter. And once we had those in place, we then we went after the artist and said, we're doing this book. We want to showcase the best of Nashua's art. Here are the letters and the topics. give us your best shot. And so we ended up with a unique piece of art for each letter. Everything from photographs to watercolors to we have an applique in there, which is a kind of a textile work where someone has sewn patches onto a cloth. We have a quilt done by a quilter in the Picker building. So it really runs the gamut of what artwork is, but I think that that shows just the variety of what.
How many people took an interest in this, in becoming part of this? This is a close-knit town, as
Sure.
big as it is, it seems.
Well, we had, I believe, 80 or 90 people make submissions for letters, and some people would submit letters, submit ideas for the entire alphabet. So 80 or 90 people submitted somewhere around 170 unique submissions for letters. From there, we probably had about 35 people submit artwork. We have 26 sponsors for each letter. We have 3 major sponsors. I'd be remiss in not mentioning them: Chick-fil-A, Gray Cat Graphic Design, and the Nashua Bank. They came alongside of us and really bolstered this project, which, again, Nashua's a fantastic community for that sort of thing.
It really is.
And then, all told, I mean, I would say we have at least, while everyone isn't in the book, but we had at least a couple hundred people working on this. Interesting.
Now, you can buy this downtown at a few vendors. If you don't mind mentioning your name.
I'd be happy to. Of course, you can get it at the Symphony office. We're at 6 Church Street, just right next to the library. It was also for sale on our website, symphonynh.org. But we have 5 vendors that are downtown: Beckonings, Fort and Gage, Ikebana Flower, Sconces, and Collins Flowers all have agreed to sell the book for us. And
now, did you have a theme of going to the florists in town?
well, we every year we do a holiday house tour, and these are vendors that were already selling tickets for us for the house tour, and people with whom we have a great relationship already.
Right.
It was just an easy ask for these folks.
How many people are in the symphony? How big is this orchestra?
It could run, depending on the piece, anywhere from a chamber symphony from probably 30 or 35 people. Now, when we bring the full orchestra, there's 70, 75 people on stage.
That's quite a sound. You always play at the Elm Street?
Generally,
yeah.
that's where all of our Masterworks concerts are, where your Beethoven, your Brahms, your Wagner, that's going to be at Elm Street. But we do a variety of special events. December 20th at the Radisson, we're doing a Glenn Miller big band show.
Oh, nice.
And so it's going to be Christmas with Glenn Miller.
Do you have any singers to go?
We do.
Yeah.
We have a singer that's going to sing some tunes for us. There's going to be dancing. So we're not just the symphony orchestra that sits on the stage and plays the Beethoven, which that's our mainstay. But we do big band music. We do jazz. We do chamber music. We want to be the full spectrum of music.
Now you got a master's degree in music, don't you?
I do. I do.
And you played trombone for the Air Force?
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, for 4 years I was a trombone player in an Air Force band.
You got to travel and see the world?
Well, not the world, but the country.
Yeah.
I count it as one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service, for one. But that's my dad, like I said off camera, he played for the Air Force, played saxophone, and according to him, you had to be pretty good to get into that band. So you must be pretty. Do you play for the symphony as well?
I don't. In my role as director of operations, I have more going on than I have time to do as it is.
Right.
Much less play in the orchestra. But we have incredible musicians that more than capably fill in where I can't perform. I do play in other groups outside. But it would just be too tough to try to run the production for a concert and try to be a musician.
Now, is that like punk rock or something like that?
No. Not on the trombone.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Well, you never know that.
Right.
They can electrify it or whatever. So any events coming up in January? Any?
We do, yes. So as I mentioned, we have the Glenn Miller Show coming up at the Radisson on December 20th, 7:30 p.m. We have January, we'll bring the orchestra back around January 25th at Elm Street, Keefe Auditorium, and that'll be the full orchestra on stage at 8 p.m. on Saturday evening. And we have another full slate of 2 more Masterworks concerts in March and April. We have our annual benefit auction on February 7th, where the big band will play again.
What is that about, the annual auction? Do people donate to that?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Is it all booked up for donations, or are you looking for donations?
We're in the initial stages of procuring items for the auction. So we'll have a silent auction to begin the night. We'll move into the ballroom at the Crown Plaza, have dinner, and then there'll be a live auction with some bigger items, and the big band will play, and people dance, and they have a lot of fun. So it is a fundraiser for the symphony, but I guarantee you that people have a great time on top of just supporting a great cause.
Now, you said a silent auction?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does that work?
Well, we'll set up tables with items located on each table and a bid sheet right next to it. So if someone comes around and says, there's a great set of CDs donated from a local vendor, I think I'll put my name in the hat for that. And so at the end of the night, we'll cut it off, and the highest bidder on that sheet of paper wins the prize.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And like you said, what are the type of donations that they get? Is it services, products?
Anything and everything that's of value. So services are great. We've had oil changes donated in the past, massages, spa treatments, house cleaning. Gift certificates are always great from restaurants. The feather in our cap this year is a 8-day cruise to the Mediterranean on Viking River Cruises. So that's the real crown jewel that'll be at the live auction, and so it runs the gamut from a $25 gift certificate to a $5,000 cruise. So a little something for everyone.
Right. Do those generate a good amount for the symphony?
They do. It's our one big fundraising evening of the year where we bring people in, and we give them dinner, and we have lots of great items, and we have a lot of fun while supporting the symphony.
Now you have 22 or 2,500 of these left.
25. Well, we ordered 2,500. We've sold several hundred already, so we're well into the sales. But we have they're going fast.
And they make great Christmas gifts. I know it's a little
Perfect Christmas gifts.
Right. And you know that when you buy this, you're obviously helping out the community, and you have a token that the community made, and it's a great way to support local people. So I think it's great. I was looking at some of the pictures inside, but knowing again that this is definitely something made by the community for the community.
Well, what we really wanted to do was everyone who lives here, we know we have a great community. That's rich in history, it's rich in culture, and so we wanted to shine a spotlight on it. We thought there wouldn't be a better town to do something like this, where it's small enough that we all know each other. The community is very tightly knit, but it's big enough to have lots of really cool things going on. And so that's exactly what this book is about. It's about just the best of Nashua. And so I think at a certain point, the book kind of just took on a life of its own. And people got really excited about it. And the end product turned out to be much bigger than the sum of the parts for us. And we really couldn't be more thrilled with how it turned out.
So the goal is that 2,500 of these need to be
2,500 would be great.
And maybe it could be a tradition year after year. That,
we'll print 2,500 more.
Right, wonderful. Any final statements that you want to leave with our guests or viewers?
I don't think so. I think we've covered a little bit of everything about what Symphony NH is about. We want to be seen as a strong community member, not just for music, but for education, for just as a pillar in the community, where we serve as many people as possible.
Now, you have a Facebook page, you said?
We do.
Yeah, and it's called?
It's I believe it's facebook.com/symphonynh. Okay. And our website is www.symphonynh.org. And you can reach any of us. You can email me right from that page.
And whether a donation or...
absolutely. Everything is on the website. Okay. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Great. Nick, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Okay. And that'll do it for now for Gate City Chronicles. Please pick up a book at your local vendors. I believe Sconsis is one of them, and the flower shops
Collins, Beckonings, Fort and Gage, Ikebana.
in Ichabana. So support your local symphony, and if you have a chance, if you've never been there, try, go. It'll surprise you how well they do. So until next week, thanks for watching Gate City Chronicles. Gate City Chronicles has been sponsored by Aardvark, the Dean of Clean, a local carpet cleaning here in Nashua, New Hampshire. You can contact them at 521-7657. Thank you.